Welcome, everyone, to the Prince on Prince podcast featuring the Doctor. I'm Prince.
I'm the Doctor.
And we're lifelong fans, friends, and Prince fans.
True.
And we would like to bring you conversations about all things Prince, starting from his music, his films, his inspirations, and most of all, his impact. And we've got you covered on pretty much anything that you can think about. First, quick note. Yes, my name really is Prince.
It's true. Another quick note. My name is not the Doctor. My name is Terry. But when we were shooting this as an idea, we just thought that the Prince on Prince podcast featuring Terry sounded really weird. No offense, Terry's, but we thought we'd hang me with the moniker of the Doctor.
Well, you are a doctor, so.
As are you.
Yeah, but you've been a doctor longer.
Okay.
It's not a competition.
It's not.
It's not a competition.
I love you more.
So today we're going to talk about who would you like to invite as a dinner party guest in the Prince ecosystem, living or dead. I mean, either way. So it could be anyone. And what we've done, we made the assignment.
I'm ready to eat. Ready to eat.
Well, my folks,
we haven't. We're
gonna have some chili sauce. Whatever we have, we're gonna have some chili sauce.
Some eggs with chili sauce.
Eggs with chili sauce.
Why eggs?
Well, because they're the only things I know how to make besides baby.
All right, I figured. Yeah, I mean that was too easy. Too easy. Oh, hey, by the way, again, this is a special day. Because, you know, as we mentioned before, Prince and I are lifelong friends, but we also live in very different parts of the country. So when we're able to be together, it's really cool. And I always want to honor that moment when we're together by bringing out something, you know, kind of special, like a little special mug to remember, to commemorate this by. So this is a mug that Prince bought me.
Oh.
He said, you know, I saw this. And I thought of you, and it haunted me all day, and I had to go back to the store to get it. But this is the mug. Says you are simply magical.
I got your mug saying you're simply magical.
Yeah, you don't remember that? All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, so dinner guest. Okay, this is interesting.
Dinner guest, yes.
This is I've been looking forward to this conversation. I think that I've got a very good dinner guest. I imagine you do too.
I think I had the best dinner guest.
Yeah. I'm also interested because if you remember from our very first episode, the intro episode where we kind of talked about this, he let it slip. He says, I already know who it's going to be. And I think, you know, and he said that she, and I said, you know, it's interesting because the minute you brought it up, I had someone in mind is also a woman. And we were interested to see if it was the same guest.
Yeah, because I have no idea.
Yeah. So this might be a very short show. We don't know. But let's find out. So who wants to go first?
Let's say the name at the same time.
Okay.
On the count of three.
So on three or after three, like 1, 2, 3, then the name, or 1, 2, 3, the name simultaneously?
1, 2, 3, and then the name.
1, 2, 3, and then the name.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's going to count?
I'm going to count.
Okay.
I'm going to count in my head.
Okay. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Now, 1, 2, 3.
Susan
Rogers.
Oh, okay. Not the same.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, who did you say? Susan Rogers?
Yeah, you messed me up, man. Why would you do that? Cheat.
Mickey Free catching
this is indicative of our relationship, right? He just plays tricks on me. He messes with me.
Ghetto boys.
He gets me to. He gets me to. All right. So who's yours for real?
No. You said Susan Rogers.
I said Susan.
She would have been mine, and I'm glad that I didn't pick her because she's a great dinner guest. So
I mean, I'm also glad that you didn't pick her because she would have been unable to come because she'd be at my house for dinner.
So it tells me
you would have been left without a guest.
She was my number 2.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Yeah, I think you should go first and tell us why.
Okay. Well, first of all, Dr. Rogers, you were my number one and you were my only one. Okay. So I just want to let you know that right off the bat. Like, so Prince, like, she's my number two. No, it was only you. Susan Rogers. Why Susan Rogers? Well, look, let's just start with who Susan Rogers is. Susan Rogers was Prince's chief engineer from like 83 to 88. So what's going on between 83 and 88, right? What's going on between 83 and 88? 83 and 88, we're talking Purple Rain, we're talking Sign of the Times, we're talking about the Black Album, right? So Susan Rogers, and you may not, I don't know if you know how much you know about her early career, but Susan Rogers was very early into her career when Prince hired her. So her first, she was starting to get interested in the music business, but her first gig was actually at Rudy Studios, right? Rudy Studios. Yeah, that was Graham Nash's and David Crosby's studio. Her first experience was as an assistant engineer, and I think this was like in 1980, something like that, 1980, 81. And that was, so that's her first really kind of like, as she moves from kind of working around that to working in that. So where she's an assistant, now an assistant engineer. Prince hires her in 83. Sight unseen, by the way. Sight unseen. She moves to Minneapolis in 83. She's hired on as a technician for Prince, but like very, very quickly, she becomes his chief engineer. And so, she's behind a lot. And by the way, do you happen to know what the first thing that she was responsible for recording was?
Darn Nikki?
No. The guitar solo.
Oh.
The guitar solo on Let's Go Crazy. Her first task at Paisley Park, her first thing that she does, the first thing that she's responsible for recording is the guitar solo on Let's Go Crazy. Dang. Right? So she's really early into her career. Prince hires her sight unseen. She, very quickly becomes, the chief engineer. And so she's instrumental in, obviously, the record, behind some of these great recordings. But Susan Rogers is important for some other reasons too, right?
Okay.
So one of the things that, we all know and that we celebrate about Prince is that Prince was kind of at the forefront of, owning your masters, right? Making sure that music was yours. He sang about that. There was the very famous and public, split with Warner Brothers, right? And in the Symbol album. Well, what a lot of people don't maybe realize is that Susan Rogers played a huge part in that.
What?
Susan Rogers played a huge part in that. So we often think about, there's the interview where Prince talks about Ani DeFranco out of Buffalo, New York, right? And Ani DeFranco creates her own publishing company, her own recording. So it's called Righteous Babe Records. And so she owns everything. She's doing the distribution. And Prince talks about it, goes on to work with Ani DeFranco, on her album and on his album. But Susan Rogers, this was pretty early too. This was like 83, I think. This was the first year that she was there. Calls up Warner Brothers Records to look at securing Prince's masters. And the reason that she does this is because when she's starting, she gets in the studio and she sees how prolific this guy is. She says, we have got to record, catalog. Susan Rogers essentially creates the vault.
I knew that part. Yeah. I didn't know all of this other stuff. Wow.
Yeah. Susan Rogers essentially creates the vault. And one of the ways that she does that is securing the masters from Warner Brothers. Now, here's the other thing too, right? The other thing about that is she does this in 83. And this is kind of like unheard of in the business to this point, right? She does this in 83. And if you remember in 1980, was it 2008? Yeah, 2008, the Universal Studios fire, which destroyed so much music, right? So much music was destroyed. Prince's masters were not. Because in 1983, Susan Rogers got those masters out of that Universal studio, out of Warner Brothers studio,
Thank you,
right?
Susan.
Yeah, right. So yeah, for that and for so many reasons. The other thing I want to say about Dr. Susan Rogers is that she's got a 22-year career in music, a big chunk of that, but not all of it by any means, but a
Right.
big chunk of that spent with Prince. She's there for, I think, what most Prince fans would point to as the pinnacle of his career.
99% of Prince fans.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, 83 to 88, right?
Yeah.
If you had to pick a span, and my God, what a span that was. 83 to 88, what?
I would start at 80, well, maybe even 82.
Sure.
Because you left out 1999.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But that was before she got there. Okay.
That was before, yeah. The only reason I'm talking about 83 to 88.
Okay, I got you. I'm back. I'm back.
But yeah, I mean, this is to take nothing away from like what he did in 89.
Right.
What he did in 82. But, Susan Rogers is there 83 to 88 as that chief engineer. And not only is she recording these things, she's cataloging. So again, thank you for the vault. Thank you for, saving those masters. So, a big chunk of that is in Prince's kind of pinnacle. She goes on to have a 22-year career in the music business. She ultimately leaves, I think it was around 2010. And so she got her doctorate and I want to get this right, in music cognition and psychoacoustics in 2010. Yeah. And so she teaches now, I think she's at Berkeley still. I'm not sure. But so she teaches now, she's written several books on this. If you ever see an interview with Susan Rogers, the insight. Yeah. I mean, the insight that she gives about that time period in Prince's career, because, she's not just, famously, I think with people in Prince's inner circle, she's not just recording, she's I think a friend, a trusted friend, a sounding board. And in many ways, I think what happens in 83 to 88 and one of the other impacts that, and look, this is just maybe conjecture on my part because I wasn't there. But it seems to me that a lot of I don't want to say like micromanaging, right? But a lot of the control, how about that? A lot of the control that Prince had on things, right? Began to ease up a little bit with Susan Rogers. Now, this isn't to say that, Susan Rogers wasn't getting a call at 2 a.m. from Prince and be like, come down to the studio, I've got an idea, right? But I don't know. And again, I could be wrong, but I feel like this is, the kind of one of those central themes in the Purple Rain film of him letting go, right? Of him trusting other people. I feel like some of that was, based on his relationship with Susan Rogers, and opening that up because, so for musically, business wise, personally, it's Susan Rogers. It's Susan Rogers to me. I'd love to have dinner with Susan Rogers.
Yeah, I'd love to have
First
dinner.
choice.
First and only choice.
Only choice.
Yeah, I was real close to picking her too. Did you say she left him in 2010 or what happened in 2010? No,
she left I think she left the music business in 2010.
Oh, okay.
So she left, it was, 88. She was the chief engineer at Paisley, till 88. But she went on to, do other things.
Yeah, very.
But I think it was 2010 that she got her doctorate. And that she just, she left the music business to pursue.
I would push back and say she got her doctorate during that 83 to 88.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
She got the certificate in 2010.
Got a doctorate, Stone Cold rocking it.
Yeah. One of my favorite Susan Rogers stories was Prince had her to come in, and it was either Christmas or her birthday. It was some sort of significant day, and made her work all day with him recording, right? And she was a little pissed about it, from what I recall, but she did her job. And at the end of it, he gave her the tape. Like, So she didn't realize she was recording. It must have been her birthday because she was recording her own gift and didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I wonder how many other songs he wrote for her and just gave her, because you never hear about that.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
romantic interest.
I mean, what it's what a gift to get,
Yeah.
right? But she still had to come into work. Her birthday, by the way, is the 3rd of August. Susan Rogers is also a Leo.
Isn't that the day that they recorded most of the live stuff from Purple Rain? August 3rd.
You know what? I don't know.
Yeah, we should look into that.
That might make it into the trivia episode.
Yeah, that'll make it into I feel like they recorded, it was either the 3rd or the 8th, but I really feel like it was the 3rd.
Okay.
Because if it was the 8th, I would have associated that with your birthday.
Right, right.
So.
See, he doesn't know when my birthday is. My birthday's actually on the 9th. No, I'm just kidding.
I would have associated it with being close to your birthday. Yeah.
I'm playing.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm interested to hear who you're having dinner with while Dr. Rogers and I are.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
and by the way, I'm feeding Dr. Rogers. I'm not giving her eggs and chili sauce. I'm not going to be that on the nose. I'm fixing her a proper dinner.
Gonna make her
well, you go ahead. And let's see if they accept the invitation.
Yeah, these are open invitations.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Dr. Rogers.
Dr. Rogers.
You're welcome anytime.
Yeah. So I love that. I love that for all the reasons that you listed. I mean, she was there during a very quintessential time in his career. And you can hear the difference in Prince's sound.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little bit more gritty before she got there, and she did a lot of polishing. I think that she became like a proper engineer because she had some training. And then after she left, Prince went in a completely type of different direction.
Yeah. But again, I just want to point out how early it was in her career.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this is bananas, right? I mean, because if you think like 83, Prince is, he's not Prince, right?
Right.
Necessarily in 83, but he's still Prince in 83. and so he's hiring who used to be an assistant engineer, who's only been an assistant engineer, right? Never been an engineer. An assistant engineer with, I think at most like 3 years under the belt, right? And again, he does hire as a technician, but that doesn't last long.
Wow.
So anyway, I think it's worth pointing out how early it was in her career.
So my person is another insider, of course, but I think one of the most overlooked insiders.
Okay.
And on Apollonia's podcast, I think the gentleman that does that with her called this person the First Lady of Paisley Park. So any guess?
I mean, the First Lady of Paisley Park to me is Susan Rogers, but who?
Yeah, that would have been a good guess. But
Jill Jones. Susan, see what I'm seeing? Oh, Jill Jones.
Jill Jones,
yeah. So, hey, listen, Susan, don't take my reaction to Jill Jones that way. Don't take my reaction. But yeah, Jill Jones.
Jill Jones.
Yeah.
Usually when people think about like the women in Prince's camp, his proteges and stuff like that, they think about like Vanity, Sheila E., all of those folks. I personally, and this isn't about her looks, even though I think Jill was fine as hell. But she was also probably the best singer in his camp during most of that time.
Yeah.
Her album that came out way too late showcased that. And she was singing background for Vanity Six. She was the girlfriend on a lot of those albums with The Time and with Prince. And uncredited, even though in 1999 it just said JJ. I'm like, JJ from Good Times? Who is this?
She's dynamite.
Yeah, and she was dynamite. And so, and then even in Purple Rain.
All right, for a second, for our younger viewers, the Good Times.
No, my, is that how he did it? Yeah, I think he did it like that. Oh man, Jimmy Walker. Yeah. So yeah, she was there for all of that. And so I feel like she's been underappreciated.
Yeah.
So what I have here is overlooked insider.
Mhm.
She was in the inner circle, but she got very little spotlight.
True.
Like even when she was singing with Vanity Six, they had her behind the curtain. She had a very unique relationship with him because it was professional and personal.
Yeah.
But she was there early enough. I think she was there before Vanity. She was there before all of those other folks came into the picture. Maybe not before Susan Moonsey, because Susan Moonsey was, I think, his girlfriend in high school, maybe, and then stayed with him. I don't know if that part is accurate, but I know that Susan Moonsey was there for a long time or in the early years as well. But Jill Jones was there after Susan left, after Vanity left, you know? And so she saw everything. And she was also very close to Prince. Yeah. And so she would have the long view on how he changed from like the early 80s to the peak that you're talking about. Because I think that she left before Graffiti Bridge, but he got her to come back.
Right.
Yeah, and she did one of the best scenes in that movie where she threw him at him.
I mean, no offense to Jill Jones, but I think it's hard. It's hard not to have one of the best scenes in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Because there weren't a lot of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it.
Yeah.
Come at me, Graffiti
Man.
Bridge fans, but you know.
Another aside, no one's going to put Graffiti Bridge above Purple Rain, Sign of Times, or Under the Cherry Moon.
No.
No one.
I mean, I don't think a lot of people would put Graffiti Bridge over, you know, a trip to the dentist sometime. You know, I mean,
it's competing with Norbit. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
I don't mean to be hating on.
Yeah, and I don't know why Eddie's catching strays. I also appreciate it, or I would also appreciate her woman's perspective on everything, right? Again, personal and professional. He was also a mentor.
Yeah.
And you just alluded to this other bit, just a little bit, that Prince was sort of known as a control freak.
Yeah.
Especially early on, and we learned that later on he became more trusting. But he was definitely trusting with Susan Rogers.
Yeah.
And I think that he trusted Jill quite a bit too, but she would have seen how tight of a grip he had on that circle back in the early to mid 80s. And what did I write down here? Oh yeah, she saw the good, the bad, and the nuanced.
Yeah. Right.
I think I heard her say, and I apologize if I'm incorrect here, that Prince wanted to see you succeed. He wanted to see you be successful, but he didn't know how he would feel if you were. And so, like,
that's interesting. Yeah.
And he put all of his energy into making these people stars. And I don't even know if that was the goal, but to give them this platform. And then sometimes, like in the case of the time, they got a little bit more popular than him in some places. I mean, early on, pre-Purple Rain, which Purple Rain kind of chronicled a little bit, and he felt some kind of way about that.
Yeah.
Here's another quick trivia, right?
Okay.
There was a time when Prince's biggest hit wasn't under his own name, because when the time first came out, Cool and Get It Up were like the biggest hits that he had written.
Right, yeah.
But they were under Jamie Starr.
True. Jamie Starr's a thief.
Yeah, Jamie Starr was a thief, man. And so it's like, imagine you wrote this song for your buddy that gave you a song that you never even released as a single. And so people are loving him, that group, and you played all the music, you played all the background.
Yeah, right.
And you, just for shits and giggles, I'm going to put Jamie Starr.
Yeah.
And then people are like, this Jamie Starr is a killer. I don't know about Prince, but this is Jamie Starr.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And so I can see him feeling some kind of way about that.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that she could give us insight into Prince as a producer.
Yeah.
The pressures of being a protege, because, you know, Prince was still carving out his path and he didn't want you making him look bad.
Yeah.
And so I think that caused a lot of tension with people.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine so.
And she's still here to be reflective on. And I'll say this too about Miss Jill Jones. After Prince passed away, several people did tribute songs, right? And my favorite one is the one that Jill did. It is amazing. She even does like the yell thing that Prince does a little bit.
Mm.
Um, and this isn't taking away anything from any of the women that he dated or married or anything like that. But I always felt like she had a very unique bond with him. I thought it was very genuine because she was there before he was a superstar.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't know, I just felt like he didn't appreciate what he had with her nearly enough.
Interesting.
Yeah, because she should have come out. I mean, the songs he was writing for
Yeah.
Vanity,
Yeah.
E, those could have been Jill Jones songs.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And yeah.
Yeah, and one of my favorite songs by her was Baby You're a Trip, which I learned was a song that he wrote for her after reading her diary. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. So
I didn't know that part. Like, I always knew that was one of your favorite. I love that song too.
Yeah.
I always knew that was like absolutely one of your favorites. I had no idea. Like, I mean, that tracks though, right?
It tracks.
It tracks. Yeah. Oh man.
She sang her butt off on that song too, man.
After reading her diary.
Yeah. And so
let's get out of there.
I know. So this next part that I didn't tell you we would do is what questions would you ask in that dinner party?
Yeah. See, it's interesting that you say you wouldn't tell me about that because in my head, I'm like, as soon as he gets done, first thing I ask him is, what question do you have for Jill Jones?
Oh, you were going to ask?
Yeah, I was going to.
This is why we've been friends for so long. This is absolutely why.
Yeah.
So I can't shake him. So my first question, then you can do yours. We'll just, volley. Is when did you realize he was a genius? You know?
Yeah. That's a good one. I think my first question to Susan Rogers would be, so I'm really interested in the work that she's doing now, right? And because like I said, she left the music business to pursue this career in academia, and if you haven't watched any interviews with Susan Rogers, you should absolutely do this. And not just if you're like, oh, you're looking for information about Prince, or you're looking for because I mean, look, here's the thing, Susan Rogers and this is the Prince on Prince podcast. We're talking about Prince, but Susan Rogers, as I think integral as she is to his career, Susan Rogers' career is so much bigger than Prince, right? And so I think the first thing that I would be asking her is, about her work now, about what she's been doing, what she's thinking. Of course, I'm going to ask her about Prince. So I'll jump in with my second question, and then I want to hear some of the other things that you're asking. But I think my second question obviously would be like, tell me about, because I was always interested in so early in her career, right?
Yeah.
So early in her career. And I haven't heard anybody ask her, like, if she could go back and do it again, right? Would she want to do it after having some more time under her belt? Or was the process of kind of, if you will, learning on the job with Prince, right? Yeah. I mean, and I know that's a hard one to answer, and there's so many variables, like, do I still get to be, even if it's not 83 to 88, do I still get what came in 83 and 88 with that, right? So I think that I would ask her about that, but also, I'd love to ask her about the conversations that she had with cataloging his music, getting those masters, getting that vault. We have all this music that's being released by the estate, right? I mean, really, we can trace that back to Susan Rogers.
Just Susan Rogers, yeah.
And so I guess maybe first, before any questions come up, I would just say thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'd just say thank you for that.
Yeah, we could say it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
No, that's brilliant, man. Oh, wow.
Oh, well, let's just stop there.
No,
That's brilliant. I love that. That's a perfect place to end this podcast. Thank you for.
Doctor, you brilliant. Thank you and good night.
Yes, appreciate you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Simply magical.
Simply magical.
Yes.
So,
what else would you ask Jill Jones?
Well, before I even say that, another thing about Jill, well, I guess it's just sort of a question. Remember the song Hello?
Mm-hmm.
Remember the James Brown video with Prince and Michael and James performing together?
Yes.
Yeah. So Jill has spoken about that. She was there.
Oh,
He
really?
was there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And she said that was a setup. Because number one, Jill didn't just come out of nowhere. She sang background for Tina Marie.
Yeah.
Her family was like part of the whole Motown thing. Yeah. So we want to give props to all of that. So she knew about the industry before she connected with Prince. So it wasn't like, hey, let me do all. She came with a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
And so I think she added a lot of value to his early
100%.
career. Yeah, absolutely. Or even just through the superstardom, I think she added a lot of value there.
But it's important that you point that out because, we talk about this control and so much of those early artists, I think up till like 83, 84, 85, 86, we really almost relegate to this notion of protege or project.
Right?
Like Prince discovers, Prince writes for, Prince creates, Prince is behind. Versus that these are some incredible artists on their own that, in many ways, Prince kind of puts parameters on. Yeah. So I appreciate you, talking about.
She could have been, I think she could have been a megastar on her own if he had poured more into her. Yeah. Because she had the looks, she had the sound, she could move. I mean, she had the swag. She was a complete package. I would have just bought a poster. Like, hey, Jill, how you? Okay, maybe that doesn't sound right. But back in those days, people used to buy posters. Yeah. Yeah. So
I think early in this episode, Jill Jones was thinking about accepting the invitation. I think
and now she was just like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm fanning out here. I would ask her, and I'm going to save my best question for last, but I would ask her what made her laugh. Because you always hear about how funny he was, and she would have been around for that. Yeah. And she said when they did Lady Cab Driver that, as much as we would like to think that something, was going on in the studio, it really wasn't. And she would just make these sounds, and she said Prince was cracking up in the booth every time she would make sounds for him on there. And so I'm wondering what he did that used to make her laugh too. Yeah.
That's interesting. All right, so you got another question.
I do.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let me see what I would. So I have two more questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I have two more questions.
Your podcast.
Well, one, because of that whole Motown connection I was talking about, that when Vanity left, she went to Motown. And I think part of the reason why she left when she did was that she had a conflict of interest. Doing Purple Rain with Prince and Warner Brothers, or going and getting this record deal on her own with Motown.
Oh, okay.
And I think Jill would have been plugged into all of that. I would have known what was going on with all of that stuff. All right.
So you want to get some dirt.
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
Because there's this rumor floating around the interwebs that Vanity actually dated Michael Jackson after she dated Prince.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel like if anybody living could give you some insight into that, like if it's just some BS or if it was like something really behind it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stories and rumors and innuendo and myths and legends and stuff about Prince and Michael Jackson and
speak tight. I mean, they were with James Brown together, so they were hanging out. So they used to be really tight. And I feel like it was right around that time when Vanity and him sort of split up and all this other stuff. And Prince or Michael was trying to get Prince to do Bad with him.
Right.
And
that was well, Past
That was after. So
Yeah.
the interwebs or the interwebs basically say that Prince didn't fully know about Vanity and Michael at the
Oh,
time,
okay.
and Michael didn't want him to know because he wanted him on his Bad project.
Okay.
And so, I mean, Jill would be able to probably tell us more
Yeah.
on that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's so I would ask her. There was no question in there. Um,
I think I get the question.
There was kind of a question in
Like,
there.
what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Tell us the truth.
Tell us
Set it straight.
because she's done some really great interviews. Like I'd ask her what's up with her in the Revolution too, because
Mhm.
they were all there at the same time, but I don't feel like they're as tight as they could or should be. And I think that there are some Prince dynamics there too, because
Yeah.
sometimes he sort of pitted people against each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the other thing that I would ask her, the last thing I would ask her,
Mm.
and I'm going to be good because I was about to say something really bad there. So I'm not going to say that, but I would ask her, what does she wish that she had said to him?
Mm.
Yeah. Because, a lot of times we have those moments like, man, I wish
Yeah.
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 So, because I know that they continued to be friends up
Mhm.
until, he passed away.
Yeah.
But I feel like there was some unspoken words. And so I would love to know what you wish you had said to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. I mean, and I like, so like no shade on the question,
Hmm.
but I think there's also that moment of like, you know, it's sometimes it's a question we may want to know as fans,
But it's
but
not
like
for us.
not that it's our place to know or our right to know,
Yeah.
And I think that it's easy to think, from a perspective as a fan, to like, yeah, what was it like, and what were these moments like, from a fan's perspective, but sometimes I think it's easy to forget, the real lives
Yeah.
and the real friendships and the real pain that April caused, right? In people's lives, because they didn't just lose this icon, and it's not just like this icon or this famous person, because I think, especially with Prince, his music and people who are fans of his music, it's a personal relationship that they have.
Yeah.
So it's almost like in that way, it's almost like this personal relationship that you have. You feel like you know this person, but you don't. You're not hanging out with him. You're not talking to him. You know what, he's projecting in media. You know what he's putting out in his music. And a lot of his music was very personal. So, but yeah, that's an interesting question. Um, it brings me back to when you were talking about like the tribute songs.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that, there were the tribute concerts, and, there were the tribute songs. Um, I'll be honest with you. What song was it that she sang as a tribute? Because I don't know. I stayed away from all of that tribute stuff.
Yeah.
And I think I just did it because I just like,
I'm gonna double. That's
it's weird. Like, I'm not like, it wasn't.
Because I know what I think it is,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure, and I don't want to mess it up, because
Sure.
we should put in the link ways that people can connect with it if
Yeah.
they need to.
And I'm not sure, exactly why I stayed away from it. But it wasn't something that I was maybe, not like ready to see, or, wanted to see, but I don't know. There was just something about it that I just I wasn't there for. You know what I mean?
It would have been hard for me too.
I don't know.
And like I said,
it's like, I mean,
was right.
Okay.
Miss you.
Of course you were.
I miss you.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We could stop the podcast right there. I miss you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
I mean, I miss you too, but what was the song?
Yeah, she was so good in that.
Yeah. I'll have to, I will check that out. I think, part of it is like, it's all like with covers, right?
Yeah.
And we were talking about the new Purple Rain that as we're recording this is playing in Minneapolis, on stage. And we were talking about that, and I'm torn on that. Like, part of me wants to see it, but part of me is like, I've seen Prince,
how do you top that?
Yeah.
Right.
And not even how you top it, but like how do you approximate it? How is it anything but like this? And again, no shade on that. And if you if you saw it and you're like, it was amazing, that's great.
Yeah.
You do you. But as for me, I'm like, I don't know. I don't have a great pull towards that. So I think it says that's what it is for me. It's like I've seen the real thing. Nothing is ever going to come close to the real thing. I don't want to see a tribute, a cover. You know what I mean?
I would hope that they just did their own thing with it, right? Because one of the things that I would hate to see is someone trying to imitate Prince. Like,
yeah,
you can act, bring your own thing to it, but don't try to channel Prince into, even though it's a Prince play.
Yeah.
Because people will compare you, be like, you ain't Prince.
Yeah. Well, and he was famously like that, right? When people would cover his music, and he didn't like people covering his music, from what I understand a lot.
Right.
But, when they did, he always kind of insisted that people bring their own thing to it. He's like, don't just, play my song.
Yeah.
He's make it yours, do something with it, add something to it,
Yeah.
I think there were moments when we tried to add something to it, and he was just like, I don't know.
We need to do an episode on covers, because there's been a lot of great covers. Jill actually did a really solid cover as well. I think it was Still Waiting. It was from Art With You, from Prince's second album.
Yeah. True.
Which was really sweet.
Yeah, true. Yeah, few and far between the covers that but
you don't have to say
one of them.
Few and far that you like.
Yeah, few and far between that I like, or that doesn't just like I listen to it and I'm like, oh, that's great. Now I'm gonna go play his version of it. Right.
Yeah, which I like more.
Yeah.
There are only a few that were really, really good. And I could think of some of the names, but we'll save that for the episode. Yeah. Maybe we'll do like a top 5 or something.
That sounds great.
All right, cool. That'd be cool.
So hey, let me ask you one last question.
Yes, sir.
Before we go. And stop me when I get to 17. But Susan Rogers, Jill Jones, who are you inviting over for dinner the second night? You want some time to think about it? I'll tell you mine.
Yeah, please.
I'm inviting you because I want to see what Jill Jones had to say.
Well, I'm going to bring her with me because, the offer is really, would you like dinner before or after breakfast? We'll have dinner and then we'll have
No, I know. I just thought I would let that hang there. I just thought I would let it hang there. I know what you were saying. I just thought I'd let you sit with it. Sit with your decision.
She's never going to call.
Her lawyers might. Her lawyers might. No, I just thought I'd let you sit with that decision.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm there.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah. But seriously, who I would have the second night if I could have it?
Yeah.
Hey, it would probably be Susan Rogers. But then I could probably just ask you, well, what did Susan Rogers think?
Yeah, it's got to be Susan Rogers.
I
wasn't serious about the question. I just wanted to say that I would invite you.
Yeah.
But okay. But yeah, let's say it you did have a second.
Yeah.
We won't have to do don't worry, we're not going to do a whole other episode right now. But who would be your second?
That's a really, really good question. I think it would probably be Jerome. Just because he's so cool. I love hanging out with Jerome.
Jerome would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
To have a dinner. Yeah, dinner and drinks.
Yeah, you wouldn't stop.
I don't know if Jerome drinks or not, but that would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun. You know how I like to do, sometimes I cheat on these assignments a little bit. I would like to invite Wendy and Lisa. I'd like to invite Wendy and Lisa. Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
Or how about Susanna?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But this is all conjecture because I don't believe any of these people are going to have dinner.
Hey, he's a great cook. He's a great cook.
It's true.
We could barbecue on Lake Minnetonka. How about that? So that's the invitation, is you can meet us on Lake Minnetonka, and we can cook for you.
Yeah, sure. That sounds good.
Yeah. You ever have grilled pancakes before?
I think two things. One, I think none of the people we're talking about are hearing this.
Right.
And two, if somehow people have said, hey, all right, you got to listen to these two yahoos they were talking about you got to listen to this, and they have made it to this point where you said he's a good cook and we'll cook for you, they'd be like, I know a restaurant that I like.
That's
and
fair.
I know a lot of good barbecue joints, but thanks. Yeah. But yeah, this is interesting, and man, what dinners those would be for us anyway.
Yeah, for us.
Right, for us.
Someone in the camp, Andy Allo, any of those folks, but Wendy and Lisa, absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Susanna, oh man.
In the meantime, it's sun setting. Want some dinner?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
We have some dinner.
We're going to go eat. Thanks for tuning in to Prince on Prince podcast with me, the doctor.
And Prince.
Catch you next time.
Peace.